Well, let's move on then. Let's move to the Oklahoma State Cowboys, guys. A team that consistently gets it done. They're just come up a little bit short year after year. But, Coach, you mentioned Mike Gundy has been there for 15 years. He's won a lot of football games. He's done a phenomenal job with the talent that he gets to come to Stillwater. And I've spent plenty of time in Stillwater. Stillwater is a fun place for those of you guys that want to make the trek all the way up I-35 and all the way out to Stillwater. But it's a tough place to get to. Bryce, let me ask you this. Mike Gundy, is he the reason that program is in contention every year? Or is it some other thing? Is it the Eskimo Joe's cheese fries that keep everybody rolling up there?
Look, what's a more interesting and posed question to me is he the reason that they don't get over the little mountaintop that they got over there? Is 10 wins? And I asked Coach this, off air here. If Gundy is in the SEC and he does not make it to the SEC championship year in and year out, or at least for contention, how many times does an AD or a fan base care that he's had a 10-win season? And what did Coach say? Nuh-uh, you're hiking. And so I think a better question is he stopping? You've got a guy that played for Oklahoma State back in the day as a quarterback. I can't wrap my head around the fact of why he cannot get a quarterback prospect in there that can actually lead their team. To me, the jury is still out on Spencer Sanders, and he had a great game against Notre Dame. That last game in Phoenix, and I'll give him that. And I hate being hard on guys, but you cannot turn the ball over. I don't know who that is in that room that's allowing him to do that, but if you make that dude one-dimensional, you will beat Oklahoma State every game. They've got a great running game. They've got a great defense. That position needs to have Mike Gundy's stamp on it to say, this is our guy. We can throw it. We do not have to run it. And he just hasn't been able to do that with any quarterback that's come through there since Brandon Weeden.
That's a good point. Bryce, you and I talked about Spencer Sanders a lot last year. It was a tale of, hey, Oklahoma State's playing this Saturday. What Spencer Sanders are we going to get? Is it going to be 5 picks or 5 touchdowns? Coach, I know you're biting your tongue. Give us your thoughts on Spencer Sanders. Obviously, he means a lot to this offense and to this program as a whole. What are your thoughts on a guy that does have experience, that has shown signs of playing pretty good football, but has been very inconsistent in taking care of the football when in big situations when the game's on the line?
Well, the two things you got to hope, right, is that he has learned from that. And then sometimes guys do and sometimes they don't. He's been in the fire. We've seen him play great against real good teams. We've seen him just give the other team the ball. But I will say this. I think that right now, and as we'll talk about it later on in the Big 12, I think because he's been there and because he's been in those games and around the coaching staff, I think that they're going to be a different team. I think they're a pretty good football team. I think from a running game standpoint, and I think you're going to get mad. Like I said, my better half is already mad at me. I've looked at all this, right? I've looked at all this, and you've never heard me as a guy that say anything great about Oklahoma State in my life. Right?
Yeah, screw those guys. I'll still say it.
Right? All my life, right? So, but if you look down the roster, right, the guys are going to be on the field. And let's be honest, it's not the whole roster. You've got a returning quarterback who's good enough to win games, can beat Notre Dame, or give it away to Baylor, right? You've got – and Baylor won the game. I'm with you, Bryce. They won the game. They held them to under 20, which nobody thought was going to happen. Right? Yep. But here's the other thing, which I think is what people are missing, right? They've got the 2 best pass rushers in the league. 2 guys who've led the league, right, on defense. And then you bring in a guy like Derek Mason, who, in my opinion, is an unbelievable defensive coach, right?
Yeah.
If you don't believe
he's going to be good.
We play Vanderbilt, and it'd be everybody every week. They didn't have any players. They were like, and you're like hanging on, just trying to get to 20 against them. If you don't forget this. You look at the halftime, the Alabama-Auburn game last year, I think it was 6-3. I think Alabama had 2 field goals. right? Am I wrong?
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
So
he's a hell of a DC.
This guy knows what the hell he's doing. Okay. So you put that in conjunction with what may be a little shortcoming at quarterback, but a veteran guy with some guys around him that know how to win. And it might get to 11 or 12 if you're not careful.
All right. So, Coach, let me ask you this. Do the Oklahoma State Cowboys have a legitimate chance at making a run at the Big 12 title this year?
Yes.
Fair enough. Bryce?
Unfortunately, they do. I mean, they're a great
very
team.
Unfortunately.
They're a great team. And it's just a matter of who, if he eats oatmeal or if he eats, Fruit Loops that morning. I don't know what it is. He needs to figure it out. Maybe go egg whites. Don't go the full egg. I don't know. But damn, just stop turning the ball over, because he is a hell of a talent. And when he does, put them in Coach alluded to it before, but if you put your, as an offensive coach, if you put your player in the best chance to be successful, they typically are. If you're a quarterback, if you're a player and you put your team in the best chance to be successful, meaning you're not giving the ball over to the defense every other possession, most likely you're going to win, because the thing is that defense, and Coach just alluded to it, Derek Mason, I'm telling you, he will hold an offense to a point where you can win games. Just don't do stupid mistakes. And I hope that he has learned from, hell, he's had 58 career games already. So, you're not going to throw at it, at Spencer Sanders, anything he hasn't seen before. It's just a matter of, can he do it?
That's right. Well, hey, for those of you guys that are rolling with us, I'm sipping on a little whiskey. I've probably had a few too many. Bryce has finished his whole bottle of tequila, I think, tonight.
Hey,
he's slurring his words a little bit.